Hello Admirals and welcome back to my channel where I talk to you about Battlefleet Gothic. I am in a little bit of a different spot in my hobby room right now, and the reason is because I want to show this glorious piece of John Blanche artwork that I have on my wall, and I want to tell you in this video how I've painted an entire fleet looking like this. So yeah, let's get to it. So this is kind of the scheme that I'm aiming to emulate. This is for my Terran class battleship. First of all, though, I do want to caveat that I am not a professional painter by any stretch of imagination. This is the Imperial ship that I'm going to be painting for you in this scheme, and it's going to be very much a tabletop scheme. I've undercoated it in Chaos Black, Citadel Chaos Black, so that's what the undercoat is there. And this is an Imperial cruiser that I've changed the prow for. Like I said, my table, I'm showcasing exactly how I paint here and the basics of it. So apologies for the chaos, to be perfectly honest. Now, in order to undercoated black, I am using Rhinox Hide base color. It's a brown, and I'm going to do a dry brush over a really loose dry brush over it. This helps bring out the gold later, I feel. So, and it doesn't mean that gold directly goes onto the black. So brown I've always found is a really good thing to use underneath of underneath gold. Really kind of adds that sort of depth to it. So I am just doing a loose dry brush over this right now. Really straightforward kind of stuff. I've taken as much paint off as I can, and you can see quite a bit of paint is still going on there. Really pretty straightforward dry brush this. And yeah, so I will do the entirety of this ship in brown, and then move on to the next bit. So this is what it looks like when it's dried. Nice and dry, brown over it. You can see there's a big difference between it and the dry of the black from the undercoat. And then I'm going to use another Citadel paint, if I can work out how to turn it properly. It's Gehenna's Gold. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to do a dry brush of that again over the entire model. Yeah, loosely taking, again, when you dry brush, I tend to take a lot of the paint off. There's still probably quite a bit of paint, probably too much paint, to be perfectly honest, on my brush, but I'm not going to stress. As I say, I'm not a professional painter. This is very much a not a guide. This is not a guide at all. This is just how I do it. And so you'll see probably practices that other painters probably won't do. But this is all of it in Gehenna Gold. So it's all been loosely kind of painted over. I'm happy with it. It's kind of a good tabletop standard. And then now it's a bit bright though, the gold. So I want to bring that back a little bit because the artwork isn't as gold as that. So I use Rakeland Flesh Shade, which is a wash from Citadel Paints. And I just use an old brush over all this gold. Not loads of it, but I want to get it all in the recesses to really bring back the really shiny gold. I don't want it super shiny, and there's a reason for that, because I like to pick out the details later in a different gold, but I'll show you that in a second. But we're going to put a loose wash over all of this, getting in the crevices, get it all in there. You can see a little bit of the wash then going in. Let that dry. It's all covered now, but once it's dried, that'll bring it back. So this is an example of how far it sort of dampers down the gold to one that I haven't used a wash on. So you can see this Gothic here, I've painted up, I'm painting in tandem with this, and you can see the difference between a wash makes. So I'm really happy with that. And now on the prow, I want to pick out the prow, and I'm using Corn Red as its base color to start. And I'm going to put that on the prow, if the thing will focus. There we go. This prow is an old resin prow from back in the day, like 20 years old. It's not an original Games Workshop thing. I really should learn to get this stuff in focus, shouldn't I, folks? That's my own fault. But this is my first, but there we go. Finally, Tom, you get there. But we just paint that over. Haven't got a lot of paintbrush on the paint on the brush here. I've taken it off on my wet palette. Yeah, just going over carefully on this supposedly delicate part of the actual process here that I'm doing. And yeah, so we just paint up the prow in that red. So then that's kind of how it's looking so far. It's looking almost like the artwork, nearly close to it. And then we're going to use lead belcher on some of the metallic parts. So the engines, some of the gun housings, the weapons batteries on the side, the lances on the top. So yeah, then we're going to go through and put some lead belcher on. And that's what it looks like with the lead belcher. So it's starting to pick out the details a little bit now. I've also put a bit of lead belcher on the prow there to add a little bit of difference in the colour, sort of break up the red and gold a little bit more. Look, kind of makes it look like almost like it's an armoured prow that you can bash ships out the way with. And now I'm moving on to a bit more highlights. So I'm using that auric gold on some of the raised areas like the eagle and the bridge and along the side of the guns, just to pick out some more details. So it adds a little bit of definition to the gold. Those sort of areas look a little bit brighter, and then yeah, that's kind of almost there. Almost there. We're getting there. I've also done a little bit of color on the base as well, as you can see, to start doing the nebulas. Now I'm going to use a bit of Nuln Oil on the prow here to draw back and put some details in to the into the prow here, so to get some of that line work, making it a little bit more defined. And you can see it's starting to get a little bit more defined now. And now, that red is a little bit too dark, so I'm going to use another Citadel paint called Evil Sun Scarlet here to really bring out the red to look like it is from the artwork itself. So I'm going to apply that red purely to the prow only, just to bring out some of the red there. You'll also notice I added a little bit of Chaos Black to the gun lances on the top of the actual Overlord battlecruiser. But we're just picking out a little bit of the more raised areas here. This is kind of highlighting, but it's not. But that's it. So let's just check out the finished product, shall we? There you have it, Admirals. That's how I paint that John Blanche scheme. Very much tabletop level, really, really simple, straightforward stuff. If you've got so far through this video now, please like, subscribe, all that sort of jazz. And as you've got this far, I think it would be rude not to show you the entire fleet. So check out the entire fleet.